Here's the latest with Qatar converting $500 billion, which is a $500 billion currently sitting in their sovereign wealth fund, into Bitcoin, according to Max Keiser, and how this would likely impact the Bitcoin price action. Let's break this baby down, shall we? Here's the headline right here. Qatar's sovereign wealth fund is considering investing $500 billion into Bitcoin, but we got to go to the high priest himself, Max Keiser. Here's some tweets. Here was an article that was recently published 4 days ago. The world's largest oil company, Saudi Aramco, partners with SBI Holdings to potentially invest in digital assets. So you have the largest oil company in the world, right, partnering with the largest bank of Japan, right, to potentially invest in digital assets. Well, what's the #1 digital asset on the planet? Bitcoin. So let's see what Max has to share regarding that. Here's the translation according to Max. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and Qatar are about to drop $1 trillion into Bitcoin. He also tweeted, what I heard 9 months ago and reported on is happening. Aramco is doing a Michael Saylor and putting billions of dollars into Bitcoin. The FOMO is real. This is coming directly from Max. I covered this story as well. Now, clearly, Saudi Arabia is the one investing billions into Bitcoin. He says it's happening now and that the FOMO is real. So you can believe whatever you guys want to believe. I don't care. Now, he also wrote, the God candle is a $100,000 uptick in play for Bitcoin. It'll shift the global access of wealth and power in a single tick. Pretty powerful words. He also wrote, I have one word for you, 100,000 Bitcoin God Candle fans. Qatar, let's freaking go. The rumors are getting very loud on this. Their sovereign wealth fund rumored to be looking to buy $500 billion worth of BTC. You know what I mean? I think there is some more actually in this thread right here. He also shows some pictures with the Emir of Qatar meeting up with Bukele, which was several months back. In fact, here's a headline back when that took place, September 13, 2023. Qatar and El Salvador enhanced diplomatic ties, sparking crypto speculation. So something is clearly going on behind closed doors. But let's get back to the thread because there's a lot more to share. Check it out. Update to add clarity. My source said, Bitcoin makes our $1/2 trillion sovereign wealth fund effectively worthless. We should just convert all of it into Bitcoin. How many of you agree with that? Do you think they should convert $500 billion into Bitcoin? Let me know your thoughts. Also shared here. Oh yeah, we just shared that tweet. Crypto Rover wrote, if Qatar really did allocate $500 billion to buy Bitcoin, it'll easily catapult the price up to $200,000 per coin. Now again, Bukele and the president of Qatar have already been discussing this. This is nothing new. This took place back in September. Now, Quentin wrote some very fascinating ideas here. Check this out. Imagine this timeline. So here, think about this. January spot Bitcoin ETF pumps Bitcoin to 75,000 per coin, hitting the new all-time high next month. April halving takes us to 100,000 per coin in roughly 4 months. Qatar announces buying Bitcoin, and then we surge God Candle, roughly at 150,000 by that time. The Fed lowers the rates, and global liquidity rises hard, taking us to 200,000 per coin. Then 2 to 3 South American countries, maybe Argentina, I don't know, maybe Paraguay. What are some other ones out there? Suriname talked about adopting Bitcoin, putting 1% of their strategic reserves in their central bank into the King crypto. So there's a lot of talks from many countries doing this, family, right? Now that would take us to 250,000 if these countries adopted Bitcoin as the legal tender. Now we also have Colombia, right? Samson Mao, I covered this here on the show, met with the president maybe a week or so ago and actually gifted him 100,000 Satoshis. So now a lot of these world leaders and presidents around the world are actually Bitcoin hodlers. So let's do some guessing. What other events that are bullish can happen? Please do. Let me know your thoughts. Now, Samson Mao, I have a lot of respect for. This guy is a very smart man. Here's what he just shared in an interview with Cointelegraph, which I transcribed, and it was actually the main story in yesterday's pod. If you missed it, check out the entire podcast. But here's a glimpse of what he shared in the interview. The real rally is when we go to $1 million, and that is when the spot ETFs are approved and we have tens of billions, maybe hundreds of billions of dollars flowing into Bitcoin in a very short time frame. I'm talking about weeks or days. So that is the real rally. Let me know if you agree with that sentiment from Samson Mao. Now I want to find, this is my X account. If you're not following me on X, you're missing out. Be sure to follow me on X, fam. He recently shared another tweet with some of the things he believes are not priced in yet that are all bullish catalysts, and I want to read them to you. Here's what he wrote yesterday. The ETF approvals aren't priced in. The halving isn't priced in. More nation-state adoption isn't priced in. Renewed quantitative easing isn't priced in. The multiplier effect isn't priced in. The Veblen effect isn't priced in. All of this is happening at the same time, and none of this ish is priced in. What are your thoughts, fam? Let me know if you agree or disagree. Now, I could actually read some more of this story because you guys want to know more about Qatar and what is happening. And again, this article was back on December 5th. And yes, at this time, it's speculation because Qatar didn't come out and announce nothing. But do you think they would? No, absolutely. They're not stupid. So you have to keep all of this in mind, family. So in a surprising move, Qatar's sovereign wealth fund has announced its intention to allocate $500 billion of its assets into Bitcoin, the leading crypto. This would make Qatar's sovereign wealth fund the largest institutional investor of Bitcoin, surpassing MicroStrategy, which currently has 174,000 BTC on the balance sheet. Also Tesla and other major companies. The sovereign wealth fund of Qatar is one of the world's largest sovereign wealth funds with an estimated value of over 300 billion. It was established all the way back in 2005 to diversify Qatar's oil and gas revenues and invest in various sectors such as real estate, infrastructure, technology, and healthcare. Their sovereign wealth fund has a long-term vision and global reach, with investments in more than 40 countries. And according to the press release, the sovereign wealth fund of Qatar sees Bitcoin as a strategic asset that can enhance its portfolio performance and hedge against inflation and currency devaluation. The sovereign wealth fund also believes that Bitcoin has the potential to become a global reserve currency that can facilitate cross-border transactions as well as financial inclusion. That's pretty powerful. Now, there's also talk of Russia, Iran, and all of these sovereign nations also dealing in Bitcoin, which I've been covering here on the show. So this is pretty real. They plan to acquire Bitcoin gradually over the next 5 years using a dollar cost averaging strategy to reduce the market volatility and price risk. So there you have it. Can they just purchase in one single swoop $500 billion worth of Bitcoin? No, it's not available. But over the course of several years, that's the plan, according to the insiders, just FYI. The announcement of the Qatar Sovereign Wealth Fund interest in Bitcoin has sent shockwaves across the industry and financial markets. Bitcoin price surged to new all-time highs. I mean, 100,000 would be a God candle. We renamed it here on the channel to the Keiser candle because Max is the one who broke the news and shared the story. And speaking of the story, let's read between the lines because this was the headline. The world's largest oil company, Saudi Aramco, partners with Japanese finance giant SBI Holdings to explore investing in digital assets. Habibi, let's get it. So Max is ultimately saying the translation of this article, if you can read between the lines, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and Qatar about to drop $1 trillion into Bitcoin. So let's read this a little further. Here we go. Saudi Aramco, the largest oil and gas company, might be on the brink of investing in digital assets, aka Bitcoin. The company, which has a market cap, according to this article, they have a market cap of $2 trillion. That's a pretty big deal. They signed a memorandum with SBI Holdings, the financial services company in Japan, to explore the collaboration in various fields of investment, including digital assets, aka Bitcoin. Now, SBI Holdings revealed plans to open a subsidiary called SBI Middle East. So oil money is coming into Bitcoin. It is a given. Saudi Aramco has invested in blockchain-linked companies before, so this isn't new. They started back in 2020 with a very small $5 million investment into VAKT, a global commodities blockchain digitization business. Also, the company signed an MOU with Draw Group, a Web3 tech development company, back in February. So there you have it, my crypto fam. What are your thoughts on this news that the Middle East going to be adopting Bitcoin and that Qatar could potentially be converting their $500 billion sovereign wealth fund into Bitcoin? Let me know your honest thoughts and I'll read these comments out loud.